All right. But yeah, ACM, thank you for that. We're just going to dive right into the PlayStation Showcase conversation. Okay. Just as a brief, recap, Sony is apparently planning a showcase for May. So it seems like they're going to kind of follow the path that they started on last year, which is, hey, we're going to do a showcase in May. Not normally when we do showcases. That's not like a normal, I would say, month to expect a showcase. But Sony did it in May last year, and now we're hearing that they are apparently going to do it in May again. And so there's a lot of stuff we don't know. That's pretty much all we know. We don't know when exactly in May. I think the assumption is that this PlayStation Showcase will occur probably the 3rd or 4th week of May, like closer to the end of it. We don't know how long it'll be. We don't know exactly what's going to be there. Jeff Grubb, the one who let us know this, is basically saying that Sony does have some smaller first-party games to reveal. But I do want to talk, more in depth about, well, number one, PlayStation Studios specifically. Like, we could talk about third parties and like third-party studios that we expect to be there, or third-party exclusives or games. So I want to talk a little bit more about PlayStation Studios, but I also want to talk about general expectations, because I actually put out a members-only post earlier this morning, and I was basically just saying, like, Sony's got to bring that showcase. It seems likely they're going to go bigger this year. And there were quite a few people that were like, well, man, hey, didn't you say you weren't going to get your hopes up? Don't get your hopes up, MBG. We know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen if you get your hopes up, MBG. And it's like, yeah, I hear you. It's hard. Can I skip to the MGS3 remake news? Well, I'm going to let you know, Elijah, that there's no specific news about Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. I put Snake in the thumbnail because I honestly saw a picture. When I was making a thumbnail, I saw a picture of Snake. I'm like, yo, that looks cool. I want to use that. But actually, I was going to talk about how it would be fantastic to see Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, or Metal Gear Solid Delta, once again show up at the PlayStation Showcase, this time with a full gameplay trailer, a release date. I would love to see that. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid Delta Triangle Snake Eater Remake 3. Yes. I can't wait to see more of this. All right, so Ragu Bagu says the fire rises. Well, check this out. The big question, at least on my mind, when it comes to the PlayStation Showcase, is which PlayStation studios are going to be there? Which PlayStation studios are going to be there? Which ones, honestly, I don't want to talk about... All right. Here's what I'm going to do. For this PlayStation Showcase conversation, I'm going to talk to you about the studios that I hope, that I want to show up at this year's Showcase. But when we get closer to it, I'm going to have another conversation with you guys where I'm going to talk to you about the studios that I think are most likely to be at the Showcase. Now, obviously, we could take this in an extreme direction. I would like every PlayStation studio to be at the Showcase, but I'm not going to go that far. But I'll tell you which ones that I want to see show up at this year's Showcase, because I think, well, I don't think it's likely or unlikely. It's just I think that we're at that kind of point with PlayStation right now where anything can happen, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So even though I'm going to preface this by saying the studios I want to show up, I'm going to tell you to keep your expectations in check. Don't necessarily expect that, but it could happen. Like, absolutely. We are at that point with PlayStation, with the PS5, with their studios, with the games that are in development. So you can keep that in mind as well. So let's start with, let me see. Well, I'm not going to go in specific order this time. The number one studio for me that I want to be at the PlayStation Showcase, like above all other studios, is Sucker Punch. And the reason I say this is because I am so eager to see what Sucker Punch has been working on for what'll be basically close to the last 4 years. I've been playing Rise of the Ronin, and Rise of the Ronin is really bringing me back to when I was playing Ghost of Tsushima the first time, but also the second time with the director's cut. And it's just really, there's so many areas in Rise of the Ronin that look so similar to Ghost of Tsushima, but it's also not Ghost of Tsushima. And it's just kind of getting me in this frame of mind where I'm like, dude, I feel so ready to see this game. I feel so ready to see what Sucker Punch can deliver next, because I don't think PlayStation Studios has been like disappointing or anything like that. So don't take anything I say this way, but I feel like PlayStation Studios has kind of been, they've been mostly just doing exactly what they're supposed to do and living up, I would say, mostly to the expectation up until this point. But again, so much of that has been kind of, I don't want to say it's been like, it's been like hampered necessarily by, cross-gen, but I mean, it kind of has. And what's most exciting to me about Ghost of Tsushima, a sequel, and Sucker Punch is that, like, dude, they're probably not only just, like, they've been just working exclusively with the PS5, but now they're even probably working with the PS5 Pro. And I'm just like, dude, this is the perfect time to show this game. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, up until this point, there's been very few moments that feel like next-gen moments. In fact, I would say the closest thing we got to a next-gen moment this generation so far is maybe with something like Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I think Ghost of Tsushima and Sucker Punch, assuming that they are working on a sequel, which I think is obvious they are. Actually, job listings have proven they are. This to me feels like this is the moment. Like this is the moment for Sony to be like, you've been waiting for that real next gen moment. Here it is, Ghost of Tsushima 2, right on the PS5, right on the PS5 Pro. I think the time is right. I do. And I just have such high expectations for this game. And that's not even talking about the direction they're going to go in with the story or the characters or Jin Sakai or anything like that. But Ray, you're saying, MBG, did you ever play the Legends DLC? Yes, I did. And I got every trophy. I did the raid. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I was all in. So on my profile, I have about 131 hours played of Ghost of Tsushima, which is a lot for me. Like for a single player game, and even, I think the multiplayer component probably added, honestly, a good 30 to 35 hours of gameplay time, maybe even longer than that. Yeah, I did everything in Ghost of Tsushima, dude. I have 100% completion. I was honestly disappointed when I finished everything in the Ghost of Tsushima Legends because I'm like, I want to keep playing this game. Like I did everything there was to do. I unlocked everything there was to unlock. And I'm like, damn, I know they're not making more content for this because it's not like a live service, but man, I want to keep playing this game. And so the number one studio that I believe, well, I don't say needs to be there, but that I want to be there. Like, to be clear, if this is the only PlayStation studio that shows up, I will still criticize Sony for that. But if they show up with Ghost of Tsushima 2 and it really delivers that next-gen moment, like, oh my God, we've made it. Like, we did it. I will be very happy. I'll be very happy and I'll be very excited. I don't expect, to be clear, I don't expect Ghost of Tsushima to be a 2025 game. I think 2026 at the earliest. Did I play the Icky Island expansion? I did. Yes, I played that as well. 100% of that as well, dude. Yes. Yeah, every piece of content that was created for Ghost of Tsushima, I consumed it in its entirety. I really enjoyed the story of Ghost of Tsushima as well. I feel like the story of Ghost of Tsushima is a little bit underrated, and the Icky Island DLC, where it focused on his relationship with his father, was so good, dude. That was so good. And I just can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, so here's my prediction with Ghost of Tsushima if it shows up at the showcase. I want it to show up. I don't think it's going to be a teaser trailer. To be clear, I don't think it's just going to be some 30-second basic pan of the world. I think it's going to be something that's it's meant to pack a punch. No pun intended, considering the studio's name is Sucker Punch. I think it's going to be something that's meant to come out and just and make a statement. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be the purpose of a game like Ghost of Tsushima showing up at a 2024 PlayStation showcase. I hope it does, dude. If it doesn't, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. If Sucker Punch doesn't show up at the showcase this year, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. I'm going to be like, how? The time is right. The time is right. So that's the number one studio I am looking for. I want to see, and I'm looking forward to hopefully showing up at this PlayStation showcase. Yeah, exactly, Irfan. You're saying the Horizon Forbidden West reveal, but even more so. I'm so curious, man. Because here's the thing. I think that there were some imperfections with Ghost of Tsushima, and I think that's kind of obvious. But I think the reason for those imperfections is because it's a brand new IP, and it was Sucker Punch's first time, I think, really trying to make a game this big and ambitious. And since then, again, the game sold over 10 million copies. It's a huge success for Sony. Dude, honestly, Sucker Punch has probably gotten so much more support internally from Sony, just a bigger budget, just more. They probably hired more developers. They probably have the ability now to, I think, really, really deliver that next gen moment that I'm kind of referring to here. Anyway, got a little bit off topic there, but we're gonna get back into the PlayStation Showcase conversation. And I was talking to you guys about the PlayStation first party studios that I want to see at the showcase. The first studio is Sucker Punch. And I told you exactly why that is. Now, the second studio that I want, I don't know if they will. I don't know the likelihood. I'm not here to talk about that, but I just know what I want. And what I want Naughty Dog at the PlayStation Showcase in 2024. That's what I want. Naughty Dog, you need to show up. I want to see your new game. Show up. I want Blue Box. Yeah, I want Blue Box. We got Payne coming in. I think I'm saying it. That's how I'm reading it. Payne coming in, dropping a membership on you guys. I think this is the first time I'm seeing him drop a membership.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I noticed that Jake, TRML, and Payne both dropped individual memberships. That's something you guys can consider doing if you're interested, just dropping a single membership if you're here frequently, or, if you want to help us get to that goal. The single memberships definitely do help. I feel like I don't make that clear enough. We get a lot of 5 bombs and 10 bombs and 20 bombs, and those are amazing, obviously, and they help, but single memberships help a lot as well, too. So, Payne, thank you for that, man. You just brought us up to 7 members. But yeah, Naughty Dog, you need to show up at the PlayStation Showcase. I want to see what Naughty Dog's new game is, because I feel like I've been seeing so much of Naughty Dog since they released The Last of Us Part 2. I feel like I've been hearing from Naughty Dog so much, and it's all been about remakes, remasters, and at this point, a canceled live service game. And this depresses me, because somebody made it clear not that long ago. They were like, man, isn't it crazy to think that the last time we got an actual new Naughty Dog game reveal was in 2016? And that is mind-blowing to think about, in my opinion. Only because, again, we've heard from them so many times since then, and it's been and nothing we've heard from them has been about something new. I feel like it's different when a studio goes dark for a little while and a long time, and you think, okay, well, they're just working on something. And I feel like with Naughty Dog, it was just a different situation where it's like The Last of Us Part 2 was revealed in 2016. It came out in 2020. And then since then, for the last 4 years, again, we got a remaster, a remake, and the only new thing that we were excited to see was The Last of Us multiplayer, and that's gone now. But in the middle of all of this, there's been this persistent rumor that just won't go away, and it seems like it's not going away because there's truth to it. There's been this persistent rumor that they are working on a new IP, and that they've been working on it for a little while, alongside these other projects. You know, while they were working on The Last of Us 1 remake and The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, while they were working on this stuff, they were also working on this new single-player IP. I want to see what this game is, because I just feel like Naughty Dog as a studio, if I'm being completely brutally honest, I feel like they have truly, they've been knocked down a peg or two. Now, I know not everybody agrees with that. I know that there are people that love The Last of Us Part 2, and, you know, there's still so many people and fans that hold, oh yeah, and they released the Last of Us the Uncharted, the 2 games that were remastered for PS5 as well. Forgot about that. But I know that there's so many people that still hold Naughty Dog in such high regard as like one of the best studios ever. And I'm not here to argue that. I'm just saying, for me personally, Naughty Dog, I don't view them the same way anymore. They're not at the, like, when I think of like my favorite video game studios, they're no longer in the top 3 at this point in time. And that to me is disappointing, because I think a big reason for this, it's not so much just The Last of Us Part 2. It's just the fact that that's what, like, right now, Naughty Dog feels like the Last of Us studio. That's what it feels like. And I get it. Like, people might say, well, what's the problem with that? You know, like, isn't Santa Monica the God of War studio? Yeah, but again, I think the difference lies in the fact that with a studio being like Naughty Dog being the Last of Us studio, there's also a lot of controversy that surrounds that. There's a lot of controversy that surrounds Neil Druckmann, and I'm over all that. You know, I'm tired of it. It's draining, and it's not what I come to play. I don't come to PlayStation for drama and bullshit. And I'm not blaming. Look, I'm not pointing a finger. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just simply trying to say that I want Naughty Dog to show up at the showcase. I want them to show a new game, and I want that game to look damn good. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want. So that's the second studio that I really, really want to see and hope to see this year at the PlayStation Showcase. Again, whether or not that will happen, we'll have a conversation about that as we get closer to it. But when I look over this list, another PlayStation first-party studio that I would love to see at the 2024 PlayStation Showcase, Team Asobi. Team Asobi, we last heard from them at the launch of the PS5 with Astro's Playroom. And obviously, they delivered what is, in my opinion, obviously an incredible game. And I think that they really proved that, hey, like, we can really do something with this Astrobot character. And it's like, you know, I'm not expecting Team Asobi to light the world on fire and be like the talk of the showcase. Oh, you know what? Let me hit the pause button on this topic for a minute, because thank you for bringing this up. I meant to talk to you guys about this. I didn't write it down. Here, boss, come over here. Come over here. Come on. You're saying SOCOM 111 title name got leaked. All right. I have to address this because, guys, look, I'm not here to tell you there is no new SOCOM game. What I'm here to tell you is that specific leak, or, you know, that this situation with SOCOM 111, it's SOCOM 3. Okay, I looked into this a little bit, and because I was very excited when I first saw that, I was like, oh man, is there evidence of a new SOCOM? It turns out that it was an actor who worked on SOCOM 3 who actually passed away a couple of years ago. So that's worth noting. The actor actually passed away a couple of years ago, and they, you know, I guess some fans who were looking up stuff regarding SOCOM, they came across their IMDb page, and he had SOCOM, like, it was listed SOCOM 111. And it was pretty, like, you know, once we found out that I think he passed away in 2022. Once we found that out, it seemed kind of clear that, like, that's referring to SOCOM 3, which I think came out in 2005. It was like part of his previous work. And so, yeah, there was some confusion amongst fans where, and I get it, I would love to see SOCOM return, but I just wanted to address this and make it known that if you're seeing anybody talk about this specific rumor regarding SOCOM, it's false. Yeah, it's just, it was an actor, a deceased actor's IMDb page, I think, that referenced his work on SOCOM 3. I think Sony should absolutely do something with SOCOM. Yo, here's something that somebody brought up, though, that I was like, damn, that would actually be super fascinating, is apparently, again, Jason Blundell is working with PlayStation Studios. We don't know in which capacity. We don't know if Jason Blundell has his own studio. We don't know if Sony made a new studio. We don't know if he's working for a current PlayStation studio. We just know he's part of PlayStation Studios. And people were like speculating, like, yo, what if Jason Blundell's working on a no. What if he's working on SOCOM for Sony? And I was like, now that would be interesting. I don't think that's likely, but that would certainly be interesting. Somebody as talented as Jason Blundell leading the way for like a new SOCOM game. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what exactly he's doing at PlayStation Studios, because that again, that was something that was revealed kind of accidentally. For those who don't know, Jason Blundell was originally working at the studio he founded that closed, Deviation Games, and they partnered with PlayStation. Obviously, things didn't go well, but it seems like Sony basically worked with Jason Blundell to be like, we still want to do something with you. And so Jason Blundell hired somebody, and this person that he hired was like, yeah, I'm excited to announce I'm working for Jason Blundell at PlayStation Studios. And everyone's like, huh? Wait, what? You think SOCOM's dead? I think it might be as well. But yeah, wanted to just clear that up before continuing my conversation about the PlayStation Showcase Part 2. But yeah, guys, Team Asobi. I want to see Team Asobi at the next PlayStation Showcase, because we know that they've been working on something Astro related for a while now, for a couple of years, and they're not the biggest team. I mean, it's hard to say if we could consider their next project full AAA, maybe smaller AAA, or maybe even AA, but I think the timing is right. You know, I seriously still, I have such fond memories of playing Astro's Playroom, and it was just such a nice little surprise at the launch of the PS5. And I don't think their next game is going to be free with for PS5 users. I think the way they're going to treat a new Astro game is it's going to be a full-blown game. Will it be a $70 title? I don't know about that. I could see it maybe being like a $50 title or $40 title. But yeah, man, this is a studio that, again, I feel like if they were to show up at a PlayStation Showcase this year, I think it would make a lot of people happy. Again, I don't think it's going to light the world on fire. I think it's going to make people happy. It'll make me happy. So the three studios, as of right now, that I want to see at the next PlayStation Showcase: Sucker Punch with a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, Naughty Dog with a new IP, and Team Asobi with a full-blown new Astrobot game for PS5 and maybe PSVR 2. Guys, boss is getting very angry and hungry. I'm going to have to ask you to expedite the process of getting us to 25 members, because he won't stop eating my microphone stand. Boss, this is not a snack. I know you want your treats, bro, but biting these metal wires is not going to do it. You got to go chill over there for now, okay? All right, here's the next studio that I want to see at PlayStation Showcase. Well, that was weird. My chat just disconnected for a minute. It says, chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. Boss, did you do something? Boss, just trying to communicate with the chat right now, bro. Straight up. Yeah, I'm not going to list Firewalk as a studio I want to see, because we know Firewalk's going to be there. Like 100%. Firewalk is 100% going to be at the next PlayStation Showcase. But yeah, the next studio. So I have three studios. I'm trying not to be too like crazy about it. Like, I want to see 10 PlayStation studios at the next showcase. No, but the next studio that I really hope to see, at the next PlayStation showcase is Bluepoint. Bluepoint, again, another studio we haven't heard from since the launch of the PS5, and we know what they did. Bluepoint showed up with Demon's Souls Remake, and in my opinion, they knocked it out of the park. Demon's Souls Remake was easily the game I was most excited to play at the launch of the PS5, because I never played the original. And I was just so hyped to have what is basically a From Software game that I never played, fully remade from the ground up by one of the most talented studios. And it's been a while. It's been a while since we've heard anything from them. Again, just as a reminder, the last we heard of Bluepoint Games, they made it clear we're not working on a remake or a remaster. Now, that to me is what makes Bluepoint so mysterious at this point in time, is because we know that when we see them again, they're going to have something new to announce. Now, could it be the continuation of a different game franchise like Uncharted or something, or any other franchise? Yeah, it absolutely could be. They didn't specifically say it's a new IP either, right? Days Gone 2. Dude, that would be the funniest thing ever. That would be the funniest thing ever. Bluepoint Games announces Days Gone 2. That would be so mind-blowing, and just, it wouldn't make any sense at all. That would make zero sense, but I'd be all for it just to see. I don't think they're not doing Bloodborne 2. I don't think so. No way. It's interesting. There was this rumor for a while that Bluepoint was working on a Bloodborne remake, but then they stopped or something. Now, I will say, here's what I will say. I'm going to give Bluepoint a little bit of leeway here because if this is their first time making their own game, then, I could imagine that maybe they'll run into some problems. And we also have Gavin Hillick here, a member for 11 months. He says, if you expect Ghost 2 in 2026, I don't expect Naughty Dog to have a brand new IP in the same time span after the remake, remaster, and multiplayer. Gavin, I think that's completely fair. And I should probably clarify that when I say I expect Naughty Dog, or I want Naughty Dog to show up, I say that in a more selfish way where I don't care if the game that Naughty Dog is making isn't coming until 2027 or the end of this generation. I don't care. I just want to see it. Like, I just want to know. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with waiting. Kind of similar to Wolverine. Wolverine was revealed in 2021 and apparently might not come out until 2026. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit too early, but it's nice to know that, hey, this is something I can look forward to. And I feel like if Naughty Dog wants to really get on a good path of getting fans excited and winning them back, or winning some fans back, that's the way to do it. So I'm in agreement with you. I don't think, if Ghost of Tsushima is going to be for 2026, I don't think Naughty Dog's going to have a game ready to go at that same time. I mean, well, we did kind of see that with The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, right? We have Angry Whale Watcher. Angry Whale Watcher comes in and drops a single gift on you guys. Another single gift. Again, guys, those of you dropping singles, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. Those single gifts do add up, man. So, Angry Whale Watcher, thank you for keeping the membership train going and bringing us up to 28 members. We have William Aguilar here with a $10 super chat saying, oh, okay. So, what William put in his super chat here is a tweet from many years ago from Bluepoint Games. In fact, I think Bluepoint Games put this tweet out even before Demon Souls released. And this is what it says. He says, so calm the spooky night, a symphony of rumors, not one, but two, return from shadow, a resistance to dart home as black monsters escape twisted hills to wander lands and siphon souls. What a nightmarish tweet, dude. Because it's just like, how many games did they just reference there, man? And William says, filter your candy collections soft from solid and be eco-friendly. Have a metal Halloween. Bluepoint Games. What is that one, dude? I missed that one. Is that another tweet, William, that Bluepoint Games put out? Because that's the first time I'm reading that. Oh, no. I do remember that. Yes. It's all coming. That's the one with the picture with the box, right? Like they had a couple of gift boxes lined up. It was like artwork. And to me, one of those boxes, it had red wrapping paper on it. And I'm like, that almost looks like a big red exclamation point, like an upside down big red exclamation point. Yeah, dude, I remember. You're saying, what do I have to do to get a Legend of Dragoon remake instead of being teased about it? I will say, that is one of the games that continually comes up on my channel from so many different people. Legend of Dragoon. We need a Legend of Dragoon remake. And it's something that, look, to be honest, I don't know the reach of a game like Legend of Dragoon. I never played it. So I can't say it's a game that I want. I can't say it's a game that I wouldn't want. I would have to see it. But what I do know is that is one of the games. I'd say that's probably one of the top 3 or 4 games. That's in the top 3 or 4 for sure. Of when people talk about, like a studio or Sony, or if it's even Bluepoint remaking something, that's one of the top 3 or 4 easily. William also says Legend of Dragoon is the only game that, if remade, would be worthy to be compared equally to Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Wow, that's pretty high praise. Yeah, again, it's a game I'm not familiar with, but I know it's held in such high regard. Titus says The Legend of Dragoon is my favorite PS1 game. I hope for a remake from Bluepoint. Damn, dude. At this point, I think I might start hoping for a remake because you guys talk about it so. Again, it's propped up so high. It's like, yeah, man. It feels to me like the equivalent of like Metal Gear, like where I feel like Metal Gear, it's my favorite game ever, like my favorite series ever, all throughout all the generations, and it's like MGS3 remake, one of the best things I could have ever asked for. I don't know if it's going to be as like, I hope it turns out as amazing as I am imagining in my head, but it's like one of those things where it's like, dude, I'm certain that people who haven't played Metal Gear, if they played Metal Gear Delta, like they're going to be like, whoa, dude, this is like one of my favorite games ever now. I imagine it's a similar situation with a game like Legend of Dragoon. Again, just based off the way people talk about it. Oh my God, man. Lost his hairs everywhere. It's really warm out today, which is nice. But yeah, the cats are in full-blown shed mode now. But William, dude, thank you for the super chat spot. I do appreciate that. And thank you for reminding me of those legendary tweets from Bluepoint. Surely what they're working on had to have been teased one time there between everything. Right? Right? Dude, that Metal Gear tease from them, though. Come on, Bluepoint. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. I'm waiting to find out Bluepoint's making like Metal Gear 6 or something. Like they just totally took on like a Konami property in agreement with Sony. There was a rumor a while ago that a new Castlevania game is in the works. I don't know. Oh, Irfan, yeah, me and you are thinking the same thing. Fred, you're saying MBG for me, it would be Parasite Eve. That's another one I hear brought up a lot. Yeah, dude, there are so many like PS1 games, like classic PS1 games or RPGs that, dude, I'll be honest with you. When I was playing PS1, I was very young. I was very, very young. I was not playing these sophisticated games at the time. Like I was in La La Land, basically. I don't even know. I don't know what the most sophisticated game I probably tried to play, if you want to call it sophisticated, was probably like Medal of Honor on PS1, which I struggled with. So these games I definitely missed out on. Like I missed the original Metal Gear Solid because I was just too young. I didn't even know about the game. You know, I had to go back and play it. Metal Gear Solid 2 is when I first came across the series. Shelly, a member for 9 months, says Uncharted's always been a graphical showpiece. Bluepoint's history with Uncharted trilogy and the graphics of Demon Souls, their original statement. The ad. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm leaning as well, man. Because we've been hearing for a while now that there's some kind of Uncharted projects in the works. There was a rumor before that it was going to be Uncharted 5. There was another rumor that claimed it was going to be an Uncharted 1 remake. And look, I don't know. I don't know which I would prefer at that point. But you are right, Shelly, that if there's one thing that I would say a game like Demon Souls has proven is that when it comes to pushing the limit of how good you can make a game look on the PS5, like, dude, I'm telling you, go play Demon Souls if you want. Go look at it. Well, looking at it on YouTube with the compression doesn't do it justice. If you have Demon Souls, boot it up again. I encourage you, boot it up again on your PS5 and just look at it. It's one of the best looking video games ever made. Like, it still holds its own 4 years into this generation. It's like, I would go as far as say maybe even the best looking game. Maybe like up against like Ratchet & Clank. It's insane. And that was at the launch of the PS5, dude. So one thing I do feel confident in is that whether it's Uncharted or not, whatever Bluepoint Games is going to reveal next, and again, maybe this is a perfect time. Maybe this is a perfect time for Bluepoint to show up alongside the PS5 Pro. They're going to push the limits graphically. Actually, yeah, maybe that does make sense. Have Bluepoint ready to go for the Pro. But yeah, Uncharted, man, try to imagine what Uncharted would look like. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what's tough, man. You're right. Uncharted is always a graphical showpiece because Naughty Dog is unparalleled with what they can achieve with their own engine. So I would have to imagine that, look, if Bluepoint was working on Uncharted, I would have to imagine they're working with Naughty Dog a little bit. Not like directly, like not like Naughty Dog's like a support studio, but just kind of like consulting them and like, oh, maybe some of their, like maybe they gave them their engine to use. I don't know. We're going to see. All right, so the last studio, guys. Again, I'm trying to keep this list tame. I'm trying to keep it, I'm trying to, my best to keep it from becoming too unrealistic. But the last studio that I absolutely want to see at the next PlayStation Showcase is Sony Bend. And the reason for this is because I was thinking, like, do I want to see, I feel like I can only choose one. Do I want to see Sony Bend and their new game, or do I want to see Sony Santa Monica and their new game? And I decided that if I had to choose which one I can end up seeing first, I want to see Sony Bend's new game first, because I really now need to know if I'm going to be excited for their game. IP Gaming, why are you spamming that, bro? You don't have to spam it. We see it. Oh, you're saying Series X was scalped for 2 weeks? Damn. IP Gaming really needed to make sure I saw that. It's all good, man. But I really need to see Sony Bend's next game because I need to know, dude. I need to know if this is a game I'm going to be excited to play or not. And the reason why I need to know is because we recently found out that Sony Bend's new game is a live service title. And I feel like that has altered my feelings on it. At least, I mean, we don't know what it is, but it definitely changed how I am feeling about it. Where now I'm a little bit more nervous that it might be a game I'm not interested in. I wasn't expecting a full live service game from Sony Bend as their follow up to Days Gone, and so I'm more comfortable waiting to see Santa Monica's new game, and I want to see Bend Studios' new game first because I gotta know. So, just as a recap, PlayStation Showcase Part 2. Again, studios and games that I absolutely want to see at the next showcase. I have no idea if they'll be there. I don't know if they're likely to be there or if they're unlikely, but just MBG's list of PlayStation studios I want to hear from in the next month or two. Sucker Punch, Ghost of Tsushima. Naughty Dog, new IP. Team Asobi, new Astro game. Bluepoint with a surprise, whether it be Uncharted or something else. And Sony Bend. And that's it. Man. Every other studio that PlayStation has, I welcome them with open arms, very much so. I'm excited to hear from any PlayStation studio at the showcase when we get one. But if I was able to choose, like, handpick which ones I want to see there, those are the ones for 2024. Sony Bend and SOCOM. No, it's not. It's a new IP, bro. Ragu Bagu, you're saying with the super chat here, if there was one game in the future that you can play, then retire from gaming, what would that game be? It's a good question. So you're saying I get the chance to play one game from the future, but after that I retire from gaming and I never play anything else again? That's a good question. I mean, there's one game that immediately pops into my head that maybe is a little bit I don't think it's unexpected, but maybe it's not the first game that you would think I would say, but I think it has to be GTA 6, dude. Yeah, I think I see a lot of people saying GTA 10. Yeah, yes, not GTA 6, GTA 10. You said any future game? Yeah, GTA 10, bro. No, it would. In all seriousness, it would be actually. Damn. You know what? Hold on. Okay, it's kind of a tie here. It's a tie, actually. It's a tie. The first one that comes to mind is GTA 6 because that's the one that's like most obvious right now. But Fizzant, yeah, dude, I didn't think of that. Oh, that one, yeah. I think it would have to be Fizzant, whatever that turns out to be. I don't think that's what the actual name of the game is going to be. Kojima's next gen PlayStation 6 spiritual successor to Metal Gear Solid. Oh my god, yeah, I think I have to choose that for sure. It would be tough because I'm so curious about GTA 6 though. Starfield 2. Dude, why does my coffee taste like that? My coffee legitimately tastes like Dr. Pepper. It's not that I like Dr. Pepper. It doesn't taste bad. What's going on, though? Boss, what'd you do to my coffee? Knack 5. Yeah, in Knack 5, you actually play as Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny is the new main character. Maybe I heat up Dr. Pepper. Oh, you know what I think it might be? I think we made vanilla coffee recently in the coffee pot. And then I'm having my regular coffee. Maybe it has a little mix because I have creamer in there. Yeah, I think that's what caused it. Oh, damn, Chris. You went there, huh? Lure Cannon says Redfall 2. Redfall 2. Could you imagine if Redfall does get a sequel? By the way, guys, hit that like button. We're sitting at 207 likes. Let's see if we can get to 225 likes. I'd really appreciate that. Crazy old school, you're saying for you would be the next Gears game? Knack and Daxter. Fred, you're saying, MBG, I don't know why, but I still want to know if Capcom is allowing Pragmata to be developed. I think it's still in development, yeah. I will say, though, it seems like it might be having some problems. The fact that like we haven't seen or heard from it in a long time. But yeah, I think it's still in development. But Ragu Bagu, thank you for the super chat, man. Definitely a little bit different. All right, so before we move on, I see a lot of Crackdown 4s in there. It seems like there's a tie here between Knack 3 and Crackdown 4. We'll see which one wins out in the end. You know one of those games is getting made. That's the funny thing is Knack 3 is going to get made or Crackdown 4 is going to get made. I don't think both will get made. I think that would cause some kind of singularity event and possibly just end the universe, but one of those games will get made. Boss Simulator. All right.